Underrated or underwater? That's the most pressing question the tepid teen thriller Swimfan warrants 23 years later after its successful release.
I just had to get it out of there, it's so stifling.
Boldly billed as a teen Fatal Attraction knockoff, Swimfan is a derivative, dim-witted female stalker flick that, despite being drowned by critics, became a commercial success in the fall of 2002. With a deranged woman stalking a high school swimming star, this one sinks to the bottom of the subgenre faster than that ill-fated OceanGate submersible.
I'm giving her all I've got, Captain. I love ya, always have.
Despite the predictable nature of the story and the glaring lack of titillating terror, crushing carnage, and campy carnality, sophomore director John Polson handles the pacing, cinematography, and casting quite admirably.
Don't be mad, I did it for us.
Us?
With all the high and low watermarks considered, it's time to dive to the bottom of the pool and find out what the happened to Swimfan.
You should have told me like your raft.
This isn't a game, Madison.
Development on Swimfan began with the screenplay by first-time feature film scribes Philip Schneider and Charles F. Bull. Before Swimfan, the only credits amassed by either writer included the 1987 TV movie He's My Girl and the 1998 TV movie Noah. So, right off the diving board, Swimfan's slight 85-minute story was conjured by two inexperienced writers working in the horror thriller realm for the very first time. Not a good sign.
He had a bad swim, alright? Why don't you just give it a rest?
Once the script was completed, Michael Douglas's production company, Further Films, became involved when two of its staffers, Marcy Drogan and Allison Segan, read it and saw the potential. Of course, Douglas famously starred in Fatal Attraction in 1987, a landmark psychological thriller that still holds up and is far superior to Swimfan across the board.
You kill my wife, I'll kill you.
And once the script was brought to Green Street Films, the production company decided to finance the film. Seeing eye to eye on the movie's commercial appeal, Further Films and Green Street set out to make a teen-driven thriller with an independent vibe and modest costs, while boasting glossy mainstream production values. As such, efforts were made to find a suitable director who could deftly handle the material and make it look like a big studio movie with limited resources. After a lengthy search, budding Australian filmmaker John Polson was tapped to direct Swimfan on the strength of his only previous feature, the 1999 dark slapstick comedy Siam Sunset. With such unproven talent hired to write and direct Swimfan, it's no surprise that the movie ultimately sank. However, the production companies were impressed with Polson's ability to pace a film made on a shoestring budget properly. Long before becoming a director, Polson was an accomplished actor who famously played Billy Baird in Mission Impossible 2, amongst other roles.
I don't think we've ever finished each other's sentences.
Once the project was greenlit, the casting got underway. Erica Christensen, who played Michael Douglas's daughter in Traffic, was chosen to play Madison Bell. To prepare for her role as the wildly unhinged teen cellist, Christensen spent 3 months training to play the instrument before filming. As for Madison's high school crush and obsession, Jesse Bradford was cast to play Ben Cronin, fresh off his teenage turn in the hit cheerleading comedy Bring It On. According to Polson, the role of Madison's cousin, Christopher Dante, was originally written as a chubby nerd. However, his personality was altered and tailored to James DeBello's oddball energy after he blew the casting director away in auditions.
Your name isn't Trip, is it?
Oh no, my name's Trip. Remember we were talking on the phone?
As for the role of Josh, Clayne Crawford won the part after Polson auditioned roughly 50 actors. Crawford completely stole the cast table read, which occurred only a week before filming started.
Congratulations, dickhead.
With the blueprint completed and the cast set in place, Swimfan commenced principal photography in the summer of 2001. Although the original script was set in the sun-drenched Santa Barbara, California location, Green Street Films always envisioned Swimfan as an East Coast chiller. Before filming in the summer of 2001, the production team considered shooting in the fall and winter of 2000 to reflect the seasonal frigidity, but ultimately the scheduling couldn't accommodate it, so they filmed in the summer of 2001 instead. Strapped with an estimated budget of $10 million, Swimfan was shot in the New York tri-state area, including locations in suburban New Jersey, Westchester, Brooklyn, Piermont, Long Island, Harlem, and mostly Manhattan. The high school featured in the film was shot at Bayonne High School in Bayonne, New Jersey, while additional filming took place in Bergen, Hackensack, and Montclair. The entire movie was shot in just 36 days, reinforcing its independent nature.
When I'm with him, I pretend it's you.
With time being the biggest hurdle, most shots were achieved in just 2 or 3 takes. Yeah, we could tell. Although Swimfan was filmed amid urgent talks of a SAG and WGA strike, principal photography went relatively smooth without many hiccups or mishaps. The most pressing problem for Poulsen was filming on such a tight schedule, citing one night when he had to combine 2 days of shooting into one upon learning, at the last minute, that the production was about to lose the house used for Madison's residence.
Why didn't you tell me I had a visitor?
For such a small production, there was initial concern that the impending union strikes would limit their ability to find a competent crew, especially for the difficult underwater sequences. Yet, led by British cinematographer Giles Nutchins, fresh off the odious Battlefield Earth and the sublime aquatic thriller The Deep End, Green Street was confident that they had found the right person to create the movie's stark visual aesthetic. To achieve the desired visual tableau and blue color scheme permeating the film, Giles employed a brand new type of Kodak film stock that increased contrast. Giles also constantly pushed the film's exposure by 1 or 2 stops and used a bleach bypass technique in the final act to reduce saturation and accentuate the bluish tinge that, aside from the hospital and Madison's house, bathes every set piece. One of the most unsettling shots in the movie comes when Madison is shown playing the cello, seemingly alone. Giles placed Christensen on a rotating dolly, having her spin one way while the camera spins in the opposite direction. The dizzying effect disorients the viewer, in part by having the camera pirouette and reveal that Madison is giving a tea party recital to a room full of elderly women. More impressive, the shot was achieved on the second day of filming. By contrast, the opening shot of the film was done on the final day of photography. Despite being saddled with exposition, one of the most integral scenes comes when Ben and Madison share a lengthy conversation in the diner. That exchange, which was meant to establish the characters and their intimate rapport, took roughly 18 takes to film, the longest that any scene had taken to photograph.
Story of my life.
Arguably the most important scene in the film, and one that we saw a ton in marketing, was during Madison's seduction of Ben in the swimming pool. The location was so hot that Poulsen often directed scenes in a bathing suit. He also discovered that the coolest place in the pool house was the floor, and usually resorted to directing the scene while lying on his back. What an experience for those actors. During filming of that sequence, a safety expert was designated to monitor the electrical current coursing through the swimming pool at all times to prevent a serious health hazard.
It's alright. I've got a little secret.
As for the party at Madison's house, one shot required digital alteration when the DP accidentally appeared clear as day in a window reflection. Even though Poulsen had other takes to choose from, he felt that the performances were so strong in this particular one that CGI was just utilized to erase Niall's reflection from the shot. Later on in the movie, a shot filmed on a rainy day had to be edited to remove all signs of wetness so that it matched the shots before and after. So despite its low budget, the production hired a visual effects expert to erase the rain on screen, which was not an easy or inexpensive task in 2002. It's also worth noting that minor reshoots took place a few months following Swimfan's principal photography. One scene that was filmed during reshoots involves Christopher Dante warning Ben of Madison's previous romantic obsessions, which leads to the hospital scene with Madison's prior victim, Jake Donnelly.
Who's Jake Donnelly?
Originally, Ben went to the hospital alone after finding an address, but the scene didn't work as dramatically intended. Before Dante was made the bearer of bad news, Randy, played by a young Jason Ritter, was responsible for admonishing Ben about Madison's escalating psychosis. Other minor inserts and pickup shots were captured during the reshoots. One of the most confusing shots for test audiences came when Madison suddenly escaped the police cruiser without much explanation. To account for this, Poulsen added a single close-up insert shot of Madison ripping away her handcuffs after she spots the sheriff's handgun. Once the edit was made, hardly any preview audience members mentioned her ability to exit the car afterwards. For Poulsen, it was a make-or-break moment that, with the benefit of reshoots, was fortunate to clear up any confounding plot point that threatened to undermine the story's credibility. However, the most significant reshoot involved the swimming pool finale, in which Ben finds his girlfriend Amy held captive in a wheelchair before Madison pushes her into the pool. The originally shot scene entailed Ben arriving and finding Amy already at the bottom of the pool, still alive. Yet, when test audiences rejected that scene as thoroughly unbelievable, Poulsen and the cast returned to the pool with Fox's blessing to film what is depicted in the final cut. Impressively, Christensen actually wrote her own dialogue during the reshot sequence. Meanwhile, Shiri Appleby, who played Amy, had a stunt double that had trouble filming the sequences underwater. So, to her credit, Appleby actually volunteered to perform the aquatic shots herself and spent roughly 7 days perfecting the finale. According to Bradford, the cast had underwater breathing apparatuses that allowed them to sit at the bottom of the pool, listen to directions through a waterproof speaker, and perform scenes without having to dive in first. 20th Century Fox released Swimfan theatrically on September 6, 2002. Despite taking a critical beating, the film opened #1 at the US box office, earning $12.4 million and toppling the indie hit My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The movie went on to become a worldwide commercial hit, grossing $34.4 million against its reported $10 million budget. Different times. As for Swimfan's lukewarm reception, the film sank with a 15% Rotten Tomatoes rating and a 29 Metascore. While the 32% popcorn meter and 5.1 IMDb ratings are slightly more favorable amongst non-critics, most agree that, despite the slick pacing and editorial techniques, the film fails to hit the target as a spine-tingling teenage fatal attraction that it was intended to be. Fittingly tantamount to cinematic blue balls, Swimfan is a tantalizing buildup and frustrating anticlimactic letdown. Nowhere near as sleazy, steamy, sexy, or trashy enough for its intended aim, the film ultimately drowns in a shallow pool of cliches and trampled genre conventions. Yet, underwhelming as the movie remains to this day, it does earn credit for its quick tempo, sleek production design, deft cinematography, and unique editing methods. Although the financial success of Swimfan never warranted a sequel, there was some baseless speculation about Swimfan 2 that popped up online earlier this year, but none of them appear to be credible, and the chances of a sequel are slim to none at this time. Thank God. And that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of Swimfan's production history. The fairly smooth film shoot was about as rote, routine, and undramatic as the movie itself. However, over time, the film has gained somewhat of a nostalgic following amongst the so bad it's good movie crowd. Nearly 25 years later, that's what the happened to Swimfan.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.